LeBron is up there in the GOAT conversation. So for him,
Straight up.
for him to come out and say, like, no, I want to play with Steph Curry, regardless of how the world may feel about that or how anyone may feel, in my opinion, that is like, that's one, number one, that's one of the ultimate signs of respect. Like, take me deeper into what you were really thinking when you first heard that.
But so what you just said is definitely, and like we talk about all the time with Bron, especially knowing our history and the finals runs and all that, and playing against him. There is no denying like his greatness in terms of what he can do on the court. And like sometimes you're in, even when you're playing against him, you're in awe because it's like the way he can control the tempo of the game, the way he can dominate scoring, passing, you know, just his overall just presence and his IQ, like all that stuff. Like we all talk about it. And you have to appreciate your competition if you want to beat him, because there's got to be that, you know, as coach would call it, the appropriate fear.
Absolutely.
But like you said, in terms of like him picking out one player that he would want besides his son that he would want to play with, and my name comes up, it is definitely, it's surreal because I'll never be so far removed from the time like I was in Detroit playing in the Sweet 16 game, and this dude was maybe in his 4th or 5th year in the league, and he's coming to my game like supporting and cheering and doing all that stuff, even at the place he was at in his career as, you know, the future superstar and, like you said, Hall of Famer, potentially greatest of all time. Like, the fact that we're 13 years removed and he's saying that, it's still crazy. I had I don't know how many people knew this. He gave me a jersey when I was in high school. When I was in college at Davidson, and I still have it on the wall at my parents' house back in Charlotte.
Wow.
And he wrote it like to the king of basketball in North Carolina, and signed it and all that. So like I'll never be too far removed from like where I came from in terms of this journey. So that's dope, and that's the surreal part. The other quick part is like, okay, if you take a fantasy draft and you're like building a team out and you got what Bron can do and the way that I can shoot the ball, like obviously there's like a curiosity, like what would that look like? But also there's a realism of like, that's why I said I'm good right now. It's just, you can never let your mind go from what you know is your situation, what is your moment, your time, and who I've been rocking with from day one. So that's my best answer at it, because it's fantasy, it's wild, but there's a respect and appreciation. There's a surrealness because of where I came from and how we first interacted back when I was in college. But if this was 2K, that'd be pretty lethal.
I appreciate that answer though, because the reality is, one thing that pisses me off in this entire realm of NBA players, which is, let's face it, dominated by African Americans, is how they try to pit us against each other. You know, it's like everything him against him, compared, like how is he compared to this guy?
Oh, they just did that to I was walking up here and I was on TV on one of the talking head shows, and it was like, who has more pressure, Kyrie or KD? I said, what? What?
Like, now they walk in the
That's
locker room.
15 minutes on TV? Like, we talk about that?
Exactly.
Before the playing game even started?
I think it's ridiculous how they try to like, and so when LeBron comes out and say like, I want to play with Steph Curry, and the reality is all the talking heads and all of these people, they want to try to find a way to make that controversial.
Right.
And that's not a controversial statement at all. That is saying I admire someone with my knowledge of the game, because LeBron has some of the highest knowledge when it comes to basketball. With my knowledge of the game and me understand what wins in this league, I want to play with him, because if I can take my skill set and partner my skill set with this guy's skill set, I think it'll be unstoppable.
Great point, though.